But first up, the shark attack death of a 60-year-old man in northern New South Wales yesterday has once again exposed the absurdity of ineffective shark control measures at some beaches. Now, councils like Tweed and Byron continue to adopt policies of no shark nets or drum lines. Now, they say the collateral damage, where turtles, seals, whales and other marine life die in the nets, is not worth deploying those safeguards. Meanwhile, just north of that stretch of coastline at the Gold Coast, the entire 42-kilometre strip of coastline between Coolangatta and Main beach is guarded by nets and drum lines. There hasn't been a fatal shark attack on those beaches on the Gold Coast since 1958. In northern New South Wales, there's been 9 fatal shark attacks in the past 8 years and scores of attacks with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, swimmers and surfers frolicking in the waters of Byron, Ballina and Kingscliff are currently playing Russian roulette. It beggars belief that we have the technology and manpower to protect swimmers and surfers in these regions, yet green-tinged councils elect not to do so. In Queensland, shark nets and drum lines have been redeployed in the Whitsundays after a spate of attacks, including a deadly mauling at a place called Sid Bay. The decision to install the nets and drum lines comes after the federal and state governments agreed on a plan to ensure human safety is our overriding priority. Now, it's a blow to marine conservationists who had convinced the federal court to uphold an administrative appeals tribunal decision to stop the installation of lethal drum lines and nets. Tourism operators in the Whitsundays, they reported significant declines in numbers over summer as families stayed away in droves after 6 shark attacks in 14 months. Now, this $5 million program, and let's not forget, they've now been hit with the implications of the COVID crisis and, of course, the borders being closed in Queensland, which is probably the greatest political own goal in Queensland history. Now, the $5 million Shark Nets program also includes new technology such as drone surveillance to help protect swimmers. It now protects vulnerable swimmers in places like Sid Bay, which up until they went in was possibly the most dangerous spot in the world to swim. It was a good outcome for the community, especially tourism operators who, as I said, are doing it tough. The Great Barrier Reef's appeal to domestic and international holidaymakers had taken a battering since those 6 shark attacks in the past 14 months. And understandably, families, they shied away from the Whitsundays, as they should, fearful of the prospect of shark attack. The same thing will happen, no doubt, in northern New South Wales. Tourism needs all the help it can get off the back of the coronavirus implications. When will authorities learn that the beaches are part of our culture, our history, and as a sun-drenched country, we deserve protection from ocean predators? If the technology is there, use it. People before sharks. It's not rocket science.